Hello everybody, welcome back to some resource driving. You can see that my raft here has the Microtech skin on it. I've had a very busy day yesterday doing the large cargo hauling missions around Microtech. So I was doing what I said would annoy me, and it did annoy me, which was waiting for these missions to spawn. We have had a hotfix build, which I'm currently using. I think it's like 10:45 in the morning here. And it came out literally hours ago, and it seems to have fixed the issue of the cargo missions, like only one person on the server being able to grab them, so that you don't have to sit around and wait anymore. So I can see all of my ones for Hurston and for Microtech, because they're the two factions that I've picked, because I haven't done the others yet, but I can now see them all and I can take them. I assume there's still going to be like an 8-minute cooldown timer when you turn them in. However, I haven't been doing that. If I go to my journal and I select Second Life Resource Drive, you can see that I have done all this with Microtech and I've gone to tier 4, so I've got my raft skin. I am here on Hurston, and I have done this by doing an alternate method. And FoxyLoxy, the gamer, has done a video on this about 12 hours ago. I didn't see it, or I hadn't heard of this method. One of my old members told me about it and we did some testing last night. But as you can see, I have my Hull C out. And I could say very silly things and be very clickbaity and saying, oh, this is the method to do the resource drive, this is the way to do it. It isn't, because this is so long-winded, it's ridiculous. But what you need to do this method in particular is a Hull C, which is no small feat, because that in itself is like a 500-600 pound spaceship. Where's my Hull C gone? I'm the wrong way up. And you need max reputation with Red Wind hauling in Pyro. I have both because I love my Hull C trading runs, and I also have max rep, and I did lots and lots and lots and lots of farming in Pyro. So if I go to Red Wind is essentially the Kovalex of Pyro, so they're the cargo mission people, and you can see I've maxed it out to master. When you do that, you get a mission in Pyro that will it's basically like you have to haul a massive Hull C load of copper from one location to another. And instead, what I did was I accepted the mission last night. I brought the cargo back to Stanton, went to Hurston, docked the Hull C at Everest Harbour, and went to bed. So the mission went away, and now the cargo is essentially abandoned cargo. And in the testing that we did, that I think Foxy's done in his video as well, you can't use the cargo deck to just turn the Hull C cargo in. That would be too easy. So instead you have to manually offload it, as I'm doing right now. And you have to use a ship tractor beam to snag the cargo off the Hull C, which is what I'm doing. And I'm able to do this solo because of my rep and ship. And then you turn the cargo in that way. Oops, let's not have you flying away, please. And as you can see in the top right corner, I've already turned in nearly 1,000 SCU of cargo doing this. And doing the rep that I did to Microtech yesterday, getting it to rank 4, took me 12 hours, having to contend with broken freight elevators and pad rammers and people trying to steal the cargo or butt their way in when you weren't finished using a freight elevator because the others were broken, or freight elevators not working outright, and having to like bring cargo up in loads because it had stuck invisible cargo on it. There was a lot of problems. So yeah, it took me about 12 hours to get my rep up to almost the same position in Hurston. Has taken me about 50 minutes after doing the prep yesterday. So it is a much faster way of doing it if you have the existing rep and the ship in place. Oh, my Hull C's going for a spin. So it is a way of doing it. It is not the way of doing it. I imagine it will be the way of doing it for a lot of my old mates when they hear how I've done this, and once they hear it works and they realise that I can do it for them. But I'm happy to go and help them progress through this thing, because it is a bit of a slog and the rewards are very cool. I do love this Microtech skin for the raft. It's very, very pretty, and it looks like actually a fair bit of work gone into it. You can't see it at the minute because it's covered in lights, but when I was flying this thing around Microtech last night, the lights like the ship lights all light up the Microtech logos and things. Like the lights are perfectly placed. It looks awesome even at night, and very, very branded, as one of my old mate members put it. So yeah, it's well worth doing it for the rewards, but it's a bit of a slog. But this way works, and it's the way I'm going to choose to do it. It does mean, of course, that once I have offloaded all of this Hull C cargo, I'm going to have to go and get some more, but I think that's saving a lot of time overall compared to having to combat all the broken elements of what's been going on with this mission. Like I said, there's been a hotfix, so some of it does work, but unfortunately if you're not into the cargo hauling, you're still a bit shit out of luck because the combat missions aren't spawning, which is a bit of a bummer, because I would like to try them. I wanted to try one of the efficient ones that everyone wants to do, which is to go and rescue a ship that's been abandoned and it has like a few pirates circling it, and then all you do is you bring it home, basically. It's not destroyed, it's just been abandoned, so you can get into the pilot seat, you can fly that ship home full of its cargo, land it here as I've done with my raft, and then just dump the cargo that way. But we can't do it because they aren't spawning, so hopefully they're going to fix that. So we'll see how this goes and see if I can keep doing this. Are CIG going to patch it out? Potentially. I'm hoping they'll leave it in as a little bit of a sorry to the people who have had so much trouble with it. And you know, at the end of the day, like I said, whilst it's not the way of doing this because it requires such a hideous amount of work in the beginning, it's a way of doing it, and I'm just fortunate enough to be able to do that. So I'll carry on doing this and we'll see what happens. Right then, it's after the patch, or should I say after the maintenance. So I was doing the Hull C run stuff before the maintenance today. We had maintenance at 2 o'clock UK time, 1 PM UTC. And I'll just stick my thrusters on so we're going to the wormhole. As you can see, I'm in Pyro. I'm at the Stanton Gateway, and if we go into contracts now, and we go to Bulkgrade, where the Redwind mission was, the Copper Redwind mission is gone, because fuck you, people who are enjoying a different, more interesting way of trying to do this silly, broken event. So once again, I'm pissed off with CIG. I mean, it was like I said, it was a gamey way of doing it, but the opportunities were there for people to use it, and the pirates to use it. The pirates could have camped the Pyro Gateway, waiting for Hull C's to come out full of copper, and then could have just shot the Hull C down and stolen it. But CIG were like, no, fuck your fun. You're going to go back to doing the normal boring way with all our broken elevators and the missions. I've seen a Spectrum post where Xylo has said about the combat missions are still broken. They know the combat missions are still broken, and they're currently working on a fix for those as well. So it would appear that we still have the hauling missions, as you can see. In fact, there's even more there now, look. What's that one? Medium, small, large, 2 smalls for some reason. I'll grab the large one for giggles. But yeah, going into contracts now and looking at bulk grades. See, some people are accepting these, or they're just popping off because the missions are dropping. But yeah, going through all of them: waste, potassium, carbon, potassium, carbon, potassium, carbon, potassium, quartz, potassium, carbon, waste, potassium, carbon. So they've just changed the minerals around so that none of them are the copper or anything waste. It's waste, carbon, potassium, and processed food, basically. They've made them all useless to this event. So fuck you for trying to find more fun ways of trying to do things, Ian. It's also rather fuck me for trying to find more interesting ways of doing it. So Foxy Loxy highlighted it, and it got nuked within hours, because we aren't allowed to have fun. We have to do it the broken way. So once again, I'm really disappointed. I've managed to get my Hurston rep up doing it, but I was doing it pretty much all morning with a couple of loads of Hull C materials. And yeah, now they've nuked it again. So I'm back to doing it the same way as everyone else. I'm disappointed. I can understand why they've done it, but I'm still really fucking disappointed because it's silly. There's ways that it could have made the gameplay more interesting. As more and more people knew about it, pirates could have camped the Pyro Gateway. and could have waited for Hull Seas to come out and nuked the Hull Seas as they were trying to make their way off with all the cargo for the Friends. They could have even interdicted them going to the stations or to the, you know, there's loads of ways that pirates could have manipulated it to stop these things getting to wherever they were going for their friends to offload them. But rather than let the emergent gameplay come out after this little, not loophole, but this little other method come through, CIG have just gone, nah, and turned it off. When there's a whole host of other issues to fix. This game frustrates me. I'm turning into Salty Mike. You know, frustrates and disappoints at the minute. I want to get this shit done because I want to get the rewards, but I'm this close to finishing Microtech and Hurston's ones, and then I don't think I'm going to be bothering with Crusaders and ArcCorp. ArcCorp because I'm just not interested in the red, but Crusader because it seems that most of the abuse that's going on appears to be around the Crusader area for some reason. Everyone just keeps dunking on the Daymar yellow and selling landing points. I don't know if it's because it's where most of the people are after Hurston or what. But I want to end this video on a positive note, and I suppose I can say that, you know, I'm close to getting the tier rewards done and getting the gear that I want, but at the same time I'm pissed off because of the low effort approach. That maybe sounds harsh, hopefully deserved. It is just a low effort approach to how they've done the missions and the fun. And at the same time, I don't think it's the problem of the design team again. Like a lot of these other things, I think is a case of decisions coming down from the top, and it's just disappointing. You know, like I said, the emergent gameplay was there to help the people who have already put in past graft, like myself and others who have already done the Red Wing missions and got them to master. But there's ways to counter that. Just camp the Pyro Gateway. Set Mantis, the Mantis now works, set Mantises up on these routes from the Gateway to Microtech, from the Gateway to Crusader, from the Gateway to ArcCorp. Stop the Hull Seas getting there, force them to use alternate routes. Instead they just went, nah, and turned the mission off. Disappointed. It's a shame. As you can see, I've got a bit more work to do on Microtech. I've almost got Hurston capped out to the top, and then once I've done these two, I think that will be it. And I will see if I can do the Worm event, and after that I'll probably just stick to other games until something else interesting comes out for this right now, or they actually fix a lot of the bloody issues that are going on with it. Maybe I'll upload some other video content. We shall see. I want to get this done now. I just want to get it done and over with. Ugh. So I think it's only fair, rather than trying to end the video with another frustrated sigh, that I at least, you know, do a bit of a feedback thing, because I feel that's a bit important rather than just getting so wound up about it. There's a lot of ways that they could have done this event, and there's a lot of missed opportunities with it. I have a list. I've literally made a list because I'm so irritated. But I figured as I do it, I'd show off some of the rewards. So you've seen the concierge skin, but I thought I may as well put in some of the reward stuff. So it's going to look weird because I've got this executive undersuit that I found in one of the Hathor crates. Let's see if we can find where I put the pyro armor. Pyro armor? Microtech armor. So there's the chest piece that makes you look like Bastion from Overwatch, at least that's my opinion. And rather than just like full armor, it feels like it's more of an almost exosuit, like to give your character mobility, to like help lifting things, and I assume that's probably going to be the desire if we have that, you know, that flexibility in game eventually. Then we go to the backpacks, and these are the backpacks I'm talking about. So the ones from the same stuff that you could buy on the store now, so the Warbond stuff. There's the Grey Cat one, so this is the one from the gold set of armour, and then I've also got the Microtech and the Hurston one, but if I put it on, See how it sticks out massively? It looks like it's from Death Stranding. It looks like it's far too large and your character should faceplant. So let's run into a bit more light and then I can have a bit of a ramble. So there we go, there's Laskin Harama. I have noticed, I wonder if they fixed the bug with the helmet. No, they haven't. So if you press Alt-H to take your helmet off for a drink, you notice you still keep the Snoopy cap on. And then when you press it to put it on again, the Snoopy cap magically disappears until a character squeezes the helmet back on the head. So yeah, this is the Microtech armour. And they all look like this, they just obviously have their respective colours. I imagine the Hurston one looks quite good with the executive set. Should we put that on? So I feel there's a lot of missed opportunities with this event. And it feels like a lot of it is punishing the time that people are putting in. Not just because of the bugs, but because of the choices that have been made. Let's go all the way to the end of my armour set. Sorry for the loud clicking. So I'll put the Hurston set on because I imagine that looks quite cool with this undersuit. Yes, just please, there you are. That does actually look pretty swished, doesn't it? I like that. I'm not normally a Hurston design person, but with that undersuit that actually looks kind of fire. So yeah, where's my list? There's lots and lots of things that I think they could have done differently. And complaints. There's a lots and lots of Spectrum posts that have summarised this stuff up, basically. And I'm not the only one by a long stretch of the imagination that's kind of moaning about this. So, you know, the elevator's not working properly, the box is spawning or disappearing, sometimes mission progress not working, queues at the landing pads because some people are nice and then other people aren't, so they just try and skip or they pad ram, boxes that you can't move because of tractor beam restrictions. We were told, you know, that there's going to be combat missions and real amounts of SCU, and that's not worked. They could have done that. They could have had different rewards. I think one of the biggest things that they've missed is that they aren't rewarding teamwork in this event. It feels like they're dumping on it. They're penalising it, I suppose is a good word of putting it. So you can't do this event as a team. You know, they said in the Inside Star Citizen, you can get your mates and you can go and do the FPS stuff and you can go and do this, go and do that. Except we can't because the rewards are shared in this event. So to give you an example, if I turn in with the raft, you know, and I have someone helping me load on the raft, and I turn in, just as an example, I know the raft is 192 SCU, but I'm just going to use 200 SCU for example's sake. If I turn in 200 SCU of cargo, you would think that you get 200 SCU of cargo for each person that was in the party. No, you get 200 SCU of cargo split. So if you've got another person helping you, you get 100 each. If you've got 3 people helping you, you get 50 each. So it's penalising teamwork instead of rewarding it, which is just backwards, absolutely ass backwards. Another massive thing, why aren't we using the distribution centres? That's literally what they're there for. that is literally what this kind of event is, literally what the distribution centres were made for. You know, the giant areas with landing pads and freight elevators that we know will work, that they are instanced hangars effectively. It's where lots and lots of resources are going to be. Why, and if they wanted to make it law reason, why aren't we going to the ones that are third party Merc companies like the Sakura Sun ones? We don't have to go to the Microtech ones. Send us to the Sakura Sun ones. You know, if there's hangar queues, that's fine. Hangar queues are a thing. People have been waiting for hangar queues. Hangar queues are lawful, and yes, you have to wait, but it means you have to wait in a proper queue and there isn't going to be griefing going on. Whereas if you're trying to wait in a queue at one of the stupid freight elevators that are far too small for the amount of cargo that's being brought out, if you're doing the large missions, then people just shove you out of the way, or they wait till you get on the pad, they try and get an elevator themselves, see that the elevator's broken, and they just use their ship or someone else's ship, normally an Idris or a Polaris or something like that that's a lot bigger, to just bounce your ship out of the way until it explodes. And then they either steal your cargo or they just have one of their friends land, and so that they can get their stuff done instead. It's stupid. We should never have gone to the outposts for anything more than the small missions. Maybe the medium missions, but even that's pushing it because of the elevator restrictions. The other thing as well is, in that regard, why are they only coming up in 4 SCU boxes? Why can't we choose? Why can't we have a choice in what size SCU crates these things are coming up in? Because 4 SCU is silly. You watch me loading the 32 SCU containers on the raft earlier on, and you saw how easy that was. 6 boxes, boom, and done. If you're doing it with the large hauling mission, they are all 4 SCU boxes, and it takes like 10 to 15 minutes of loading if the server is behaving itself, and if someone isn't trying to shove you out of the way, or if there isn't an Idris trying to land on you, or, you know, someone isn't coming and stealing your boxes and putting them into their ship, and so on and so on and so on. Just poor choices. Poor choices. What else have I got? Oh, I think my other biggest bugbear with this, and it's not necessarily with this event, is the fact of how things have gone just lately. The ship sales and everything, yes, I know they need to generate money, but the ship sales have been going on and on and on. The ship sales have been going on damn near clean, shiny, even when the game itself and the patches, as the past week has shown, the game is on fire. The patches are broken. It seems at the minute that the way it's going with marketing is that the logic behind all the ship sales is what's driving the game logic. So they're trying to do all these combat things because they keep selling these shiny combat ships that will inevitably get nerfed into the ground several patches down when the new shiny ship comes out, and they want everyone to buy that one instead. And again, from a marketing perspective, I can see why they're doing it, but it's destroying the game. It really is. It's really, really breaking this game. They got so many opportunities to
Hey, what's up?
Oh, crotch shot. So many opportunities to improve upon it and fix the bugs, but they just seem to want these poorly thought out events shoved out the door and more ships shoved out the door. The Meteors come out. I haven't bought a Meteor. I've no intention of buying a Meteor. I like the ship. I like the Mantis design. Love the Mantis design ever since it came out. I always thought it looks like a little Enterprise. But everything that ship can do, my Hornet can do, or my Sabre can do, because the Sabre is kind of the meta at the minute. I'm not much of a dogfighting pilot, so, you know, my opinion is subjective on combat ships. But they just seem to be throwing more and more combat ships out. The only industrial ship that we've had lately is the Fortune, and that wasn't even seen as a different kind of salvage ship or anything. It's not been a new twist on a cargo ship, something like the Raylan might be. Instead, the Fortune was just a different Vulture, and it wasn't even as good as the Vulture when it came out. They've had to change it in the latest patches to make it more in line with the Vulture, and even in that respect they've had to nerf how the Reclaimer works. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. Like now the Vulture and the Fortune are very good ships at doing small amounts of salvage and are very precise at getting small amounts of salvage, whereas the Reclaimer now has a larger diameter on its salvage beam but a 50% efficiency, so you get more of it covered but less salvage overall. So Vulture and Fortune are scalpel sharp precise, whereas Reclaimer is big nom nom, I'm going to eat lots of Idrises when it comes to salvage. So it swings and roundabouts. That's it. That's all we've had for industry just lately. And I'm more of an industry person than my stealthy person. I'm looking forward to the stealth suit, if we get the stealth suit coming out too soon, and I'm looking forward to the Volt sniper rifle, depending on how it works. I'm going to be interested to see how a Volt sniper rifle works, and I'm going to be interested to see if it contends with my beloved P6, because at the minute the P6 is still my weapon of choice by a long margin. So I think the last thing I want to finish off with so far, as I can go and try and get another one of these ruddy missions done to finish off my Microtech rep, is the silence, and that's on account of the devs. There's so much broken with how the missions have worked just lately. So, you know, we have the hauling ones. That's fine. I'm a cargo hauling junkie. I like my cargo hauling. If I can find my Microtech missions. Am I blind? No, there they are. So lots and lots. Oh, we have some missions now. Maybe they finally fixed them. I doubt it highly. I think the post that Xylo said is you will see them, and they will, like, you'll be able to accept them. So let's see, for instance, yeah, so it's already gone, see, because someone else has already accepted it. You'll see them, but once someone takes them, that's it, and then no one else will get it on this server. So I must have joined a fresh server. So it, you know, and it's the silence around the issues at large. You know, the only opportunity we're going to get to ask about this is Star Citizen Live, which I don't think they're doing at the minute. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it just feels like there's been complete radio silence apart from one or two very limited Spectrum posts. And I can imagine that right now they're doing a hell of a lot of damage control, because at the end of the day, this isn't working anywhere near what they intended it's supposed to be doing. It's been pushed out the door and it's all fallen down. Again, with lots of issues again, and it just keeps happening. That's the phrase. It just keeps happening. So again, hopefully constructive criticism. I'm moaning. I know I'm moaning, but I'm just disappointed because I want this to work and I want the game to work. I want this vision to succeed, and it just keeps happening. I'm frustrated and I want it to work, and I just want to play a good space game. Thank you for listening to my moaning. I'm really sorry. I want to be more positive. I do. I genuinely do. Like I said, I will get this one up and I'll see about finishing this event. Maybe doing a bit more Star Citizen stuff if the org wants to. I think not just everyone in my org, but the circle of people that I play Star Citizen with and the content creators I've spoken to, everyone's just a bit burnt out at the minute because of the issues that are going on. And we can't play the game. We want to play the game because so much is broken. So everyone is turning to other things, whilst, you know, we wait for Star Citizen to basically pick itself up and dust itself off and engage itself a bit more. Excuse me. So until then, it may just be playing the games. There's stuff I can do. I know I could show some doing stuff. I could show some flight sim stuff, because I've just bought the Lancaster in Flight Sims, basically the plane I grew up with. And I could release some like Holdfast funny moments or something, because Holdfast is just Monty Python's Napoleonic Warfare right now. So we'll see about that. So until then, thank you for watching. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for bearing with me and bearing with the game. Thanks for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please give the video a like and please subscribe if you fancy sticking around. If you're new to the game or haven't made an account yet, you can use the referral code on screen, also in the video description, to give yourself some in-game credits and give me a little boost as well. See you in the next one.